Welcome to the Prayin and Slayin podcast, a Light the Fire Outdoors production, where meatheads Aaron and John take you through a day in the life of the praying and slaying lifestyle. Without further ado, here's the next episode of the Prayin and Slayin podcast.
How's it going today, buddy?
Are you asking me or are you asking the audience?
Yeah, how you doing today, brother?
I thought you said everybody. I'm doing well.
Oh.
Doing well. Just got off the phones for Tacticam and got it needs mowing a little bit and doing some turkey hunting.
Sure.
Leaving for a turkey hunt tomorrow to fill hopefully my final 2 tags I've got from Montana.
Awesome. I really enjoyed the pilot episode you did.
Did you?
For us.
You know, it was missing something. It was missing you. What happened?
It's good to be missed, though. If you're not missed, I mean, what the hell?
Heck yeah.
But I'd like to kind of touch on something. You know, I'm definitely not an expert on tracking down a big buck and getting him on the ground, but I am working towards that, and I think that's a big part of why, you know, I wanted to get into this and talk with other like-minded hunters eventually. It's definitely like the ultimate goal of mine is to find a buck bed or a bedding area in the off season and then go in there and ambush them in the fall. And that's definitely, like, I think kind of the pinnacle of hunting, at least for me, and where I want to go. And so I don't know, that's really cool that you think that highly of me, but I got a ways to go. I appreciate the praise, but I'm definitely the intro level, and but we're gonna get there. I'm gonna keep hammering away. I had a really good spring turkey hunting and just a bunch of deer scouting on the fly as I was turkey hunting too. So
No, that's cool. And I definitely, I guess I regard you as an expert, way more above and beyond like my level of. I don't know if I like going out and just like finding something. I don't like go out seeking. I don't go do the scouting a whole lot. Now I'm getting into trail cameras and that kind of thing. And that's kind of inspiring me to do it a little bit more. It's kind of like just figure things out, but I just don't know if I'm at that where I want to go find a buck and then go nail it. Now, if I did know of a buck sign, I would go try it. And actually turkey hunting and scouting, I went out 2 weekends ago to a spot to try filling my general tag with a guy here from base. And, I guess the spot, he's seen elk on it and just tons of deer all over it. And then we were going through some of these different areas, like just kind of walking and calling every once in a while for turkey. And I found several like random spots where you can just tell, and maybe you know more a little bit about it than I do as far as like when exactly bucks are just tearing trees up. I mean, I know it's a territorial thing, but I also think it's kind of part of the pre-rut phase more than it is like the actual rut. In my opinion. But Anyway, I did find several spots that were just tore up, and it could have been from elk, but I think as low as they were on the trees, it was definitely deer. And like,
sure,
those were like the first times I like mentally logged, like I might actually come back here. And if I was going to hunt this spot, because I feel like bucks hang out in this little timber section during the pre-rut, like a staging thing or something, there's meadows all around it. Like I could hunt over here and have an overview of like these few spots. And I don't know, I kind of got into that mindset a little bit, but I think just listening to you talk is kind of what inspires me to do that. And then I've been really on this bandwagon of the hunting public lately on Amazon Prime, and watching the crap out of it. And every time I watch the episode, I'm like, John should be on this show. John should be on this show.
Those guys are amazing. And I mean, it doesn't matter what level of hunter you are. I mean, they put themselves in so many different states and so many different hunting ground and so many different scenarios, and in themselves, they hunt differently. That, I mean, I don't know, it doesn't matter if you got the most established hunter on the planet. I still think that guy could sit down and watch some and take away from those guys and what they do. It's very, very cool. And I definitely admire those dudes for what they're doing, for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, I remember, it was actually turkey hunting where you and I really first got to connect, which is kind of cool. We're in turkey season now and both getting quite a bit of hunting in this year. Well, for me, more than I usually do. And I know for you, getting out there and turkey hunting is cool, but you and I actually met like officially, I feel like kind of in the turkey blind. We got to spend a couple of days together and just have really good conversations and learn a lot about, you know, kind of who we are as hunters and everything else. But man, we were out in Iowa turkey hunting, and we end up having birds kind of playing in games with us. And so got kind of late in the day and we were out like just walking this river bottom, and you instantly went into like deer scouting mode. And we were like two grown men walking behind this turkey reaper full upright, like not turkey hunting anymore. And
Right.
anyway, I remember like I'll never forget when you bent over and like you're like, dude, this is a buck bed. And then like it was this huge win for you to find a single hair in that buck's bed. You're like, this verifies it right here. I remember you kind of going over that. I was out, I can't remember where I was. Oh, I was with my wife. We were out walking around somewhere, and I randomly found a bed. I'm like, oh, hey, check this out. This is kind of a bed. You can tell because, you know, the deer's back would be this way, and he's looking out this way, but he probably only beds here when the wind's blowing this direction, because that's all stuff that you told me about that. And then I found hair in it, and I was like, no kidding. Like,
yeah. So that particular day or that period that you're talking about, that is kind of when I started down this other endeavor of like reading a bunch of stuff about buck bedding, and definitely from, I think, like probably, and he would never admit it, that's part of what makes him so cool, but one of the greatest hunters of our time, Dan Infalt, and his website, The Hunting Beast. I mean, it just, you know, I went through a period where there was a lot of bucks around, and I was getting some good bucks, and I was having buck encounters, and I didn't learn or grow or challenge myself. I just could kind of sit back and get an opportunity that now I would never go back to that, even if there was 100 big bucks. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But so it's kind of like the come to Jesus moment where it's like, man, I haven't seen a big buck in years, and I got to do something different. And I was digging and searching, and I came to the Hunting Beast, and it was really hard to wrap my head around how a person could, predict, or I guess basically go find them in the off season and then go back in there and ambush them, set up like 50 to 75 yards away from a bedded buck. That's crazy, but
it's insane. And then you go watch the hunting public, like that's their method to their madness, is finding the bedding areas and getting as absolutely close as possible, and then you just sit there and watch these guys destroy it.
Yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense when you think about it. The best place to take one out is right where it's living, you know.
Yeah, for sure. And I think a lot of people you get like, and I remember even growing up, and we're totally going down a deer rabbit hole right now, but I'll say this, and then we'll probably get into the nuts and bolts of this portion and kind of series of the podcast. But I remember growing up, like reading the Iowa Sportsman and stuff like that, and anything that you read for the most part, and obviously that was one particular magazine I grew up with. If you were reading a deer article, it was telling you to leave bedding areas alone. That is that deer sanctuary. Do not touch it. Don't go anywhere near it. Leave that area off limits, and catch them coming, to and from food, but leave that area alone. And now these people are getting really, really good at killing big bucks consistently, and they're going polar opposite of that.
Right.
It's interesting.
For sure. I mean, you got to have a pretty solid game plan, and ideally you've been there and scouted it, and you have a good idea where that bed or that bedding area is going to be. Mm-hmm. And you have an idea of what wind that buck is going to be there at. You got to know which wind he's likely to be in that area. Otherwise you're just, it's totally willy-nilly. So I mean, if that's not your game plan, I mean, it'd be tough to pull off. But they like to carry stands on their backs and go into pre-scouted areas in the spring and know what wind that buck's going to be there. And I'm just infatuated with it, and I'm going to keep pushing until I pull it off. And I did, find some really good hunting ground on public land in Minnesota with my turkey hunt. And it was, it's just a great time to be in the woods. The woods looks exactly like it's going to look in the fall, and the foliage down, the sign after the snow melts. I mean, you can still see a scrape. Obviously you can see a rub on a tree, so the sign's still there like it was last fall. And it's just cool to be out and looking for that. It's cool when you find it. It's a
Definitely.
rush for sure. And then, hopefully in one of those spots that I found this spring, you can put the whole story together and be back there and actually take one out. I mean, I think as a hunter, that's the ultimate. You find their bed, you wait till everything's right, you slip back in there, you hang a stand and ambush him while he's getting up out of his bed and within that first 50 yards. I mean, so that's definitely the direction I'm going, because it's been I shot my last big buck in 2016, and it feels like 25 or 30 years ago.
Yeah.
I've seen lots and lots of nice bucks, but I'm just at this point in my hunting career where I want to shoot a big mature buck. It could have a giant one spike off its head as long as, I felt like it was a mature buck. That's basically what I'm hunting. And I think most guys, all guys, whether they admit it or not, they would love to shoot a Boone and Crockett class buck.
Oh yeah,
definitely not going to deny that, but
for sure.
I think really high on my list is it'd be like a dream come true to slip into one of these spots that I found this spring and come this fall and ambush a buck. I mean, that's what it's all about to me. But I just got to a point in my hunting career where I knew I had to push a little bit farther. I had to look for more spots to hunt. Benefit of, having good friends. I get to hunt on a private, like 500 acres that just happens to be a phenomenal place to deer hunt. And for probably 4 or 5 years, that's all I hunted. So you wind up just putting too much pressure on it. And once I found the hunting beast and really dug into it and wrapped my head around it, it's like, man, I mean, that place is kind of like my ace in the hole.
Mm-hmm.
I got to push myself to find other places that I can put pressure on and not destroy it. And that's definitely finding as many public spots as you can in your area, for sure.
Yeah. And it just opens your portfolio whenever, and like you said, you learn so much about, where, this spot, I might only be able to hunt it with this specific wind and this specific scenario, but unless that specific scenario is there, I'm not putting pressure on that spot. I'm going somewhere else. But then, man, when that spot is, I'm going to that spot, not putting pressure on my other spots.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely grew up in a spot where it was, I hunted the same piece of timber every single year. And when it was just me, it wasn't bad because I'd get out there 2-3 times a year, maybe more, depending on how long it took me to take a deer off it. But over the years, that particular piece had more and more people that the landowner would let hunt and other things. And you'd know that. You wouldn't know that because I never ran into anybody, but you'd know it because you'd find someone's coat sitting in your tree stand when you got there, or trash underneath somewhere else, boot tracks on a trail where you'd never seen them before. And you could tell immediately within 1 year of that happening, the bucks all started moving different. Because when I hunted it by myself, and I was an extremely low pressure hunter, I was very novice, bow hunted it only. And buck trails became a real thing when I think the deer actually, they probably had buck trails. I just never really knew about it, but they'd use the doe trails more. And then, like, it got to a point where I just quit seeing bucks, period, on it. And I'm like, what the heck? And then I started like getting down, looking around, trying to figure it out. And then you'd actually find buck trails. That was the first experience I had with, bucks legitimately travel a different path than the does do. And, and then I started figuring their little quirks out, and then I started finding the bucks again. But I had to totally readjust my hunting, but it was all because of pressure.
Right. Pressure's huge. And I think a lot of overlooked pressure comes from, wolves and other predators too. I've definitely been in areas where, man.
I was going to check you on that one, but I'm like, wait a minute, northern Minnesota, where you're at, does have wolves. I'm like, wolves are like here in Montana, but they like the elk more than they like the deer, I think.
Yeah. So, a deer, it has pressure all the time, but definitely there's too much human pressure that's going to really ruin a spot. But
for sure.
At any rate, it was an awesome spring so far for me. And
I managed mostly because of the turkeys, not even because of the deer.
Right. I got a turkey down and found some spots that I'm really excited to hunt. And I guess to kind of put a bow tie on that, it was like, in the evenings, I would drive around and kind of expand my area, looking for more turkeys, and then also curious as to see which fields held deer and which fields held the most deer. So I was kind of on this I mean, I went farther south just to keep it simple, farther south than I'd ever deer or turkey hunted, just because I knew they did more farming there. And like some of it's hay fields in that area, and more of it's becoming like crop fields like corn and soybean over the last 5 or 10 years. And each hay field I would say see like 2 to 10 deer. And then I came across this one very large field, I don't know, 80, 100 acres or 200 acres or whatever it was, but there was like deer everywhere you look, like 1 to 300 deer out in this field. And from like, we do live in a good time as a hunter. Then I just pull up my phone and dial up Onyx and look for the nearest public land,
Yeah.
Like literally right across the road from it. So
that's awesome.
then you pretty much know where they're going to be coming from. They're a big buck's probably not going to bed down right in a wide open field. He's probably going to come from the public land, and you probably know where he wants to go out onto that field, So in that sense, it was really cool. That's the first time. It's where I typically hunt. It's so hard to get a visual on deer, It's like, if you think of Iowa, and it's like, what, 80% field and 20% timber, it's completely flipped around where I hunt,
Yeah.
Where I
and that makes a huge difference for sure.
Yeah. So I was kind of pumped to be able to observe that. And yeah, I'm really excited for this next fall. And that just put like this huge charge in me. Huge. I've been thinking about it steady and watching deer hunting videos. My wife just like grins and shakes her head, like every time she comes through the living room, I'm watching YouTube videos on deer hunting.
That's funny, because I just discovered the hunting public like this last week or whatever. It's the exact same in my house. Every time she walks in, I'm watching that.
Right.
And it's funny. I mean, as if you couldn't tell, to the people listening, this is exactly why I said that John is the master of finding a buck, because you can, like, your passion is just revolving on this. We decided we were going to do a series called Turkey Takers to launch this podcast, and here we are, episode 1. And
we're just talking about
deer.
All right, I'll talk about turkeys now. For me,
no, I love it, man. It's like there's deer. There's so much more complexity to it than what people may think, or your level of hunting is so much more complex than mine. And I'm sure, like you said, there's people who take what you know to a nth degree above what you feel like and it's definitely cool. But and turkey hunting is just an excuse to get out in the spring and relive the woods that you missed from the fall and learn more about it. And
I think we might as well touch on this since we're on it. I think one of the reasons we thought it'd be fun to do a podcast is because we're at complete opposite ends of the spectrum. I mean, I'm very, very patient. I'm looking for a mature buck. If I don't get a crack at a mature buck, I may or may not shoot a doe with my muzzleloader if everything is just perfect, and I do get a little bit of crap about that because everything has to be just right. But that's just where I'm at as a hunter, and that's what I love doing. What I really love doing is looking for them and imagining these spots where it's going to happen, and searching like a little kid who walks into Disneyland for the first time. He's just like, you're not sure which direction to look because you're so excited. I mean, that's what I really live for, is trying to find the next big buck. I mean, it really is. It's crazy, but
yeah,
I think
that's awesome.
It's cool that you are on the other side and you enjoy going out for the most part on public land and just taking what the land has to offer, and being extremely happy with the hunts that you have, that you shoot a doe or maybe a small buck, or you might get an antelope, or it's incredible. And I admire that about you, that you enjoy just going out there and seeing where the day leads and taking a good animal if the situation's right. It doesn't need to be a big buck.
Yeah, and it is kind of crazy because growing up in Iowa, like public land, I mean, if you watch the hunting public, there's public land in Iowa, but it's extremely limited. Don't quote me, and maybe we'll find the statistics on this and post it, but I wrote an article for the Iowa Sportsman not too long ago, and I want to say Iowa has less than 2% public land, something extremely small. And then you come to a place like Montana where my wife's active duty Air Force, so we have the unique lifestyle of kind of bouncing around every, between 3 and 5 years, depending on the situation. And so we went from Iowa to Virginia, which is a totally separate program. And then you come out to Montana, a place that's just vastly different from anywhere I've ever been. And you got somewhere in the ballpark at like 30%, I think, public land to hunt. So most of your opportunities are actually on public land for everybody. And there's enough land to go around.
Yeah.
And it created a totally different person, because I was just used to going out. I've always been that, take what opportunity gives you, but it was always private land. I had the benefit of there being big bucks that would come through that area during the rut. You never really had to, and I literally every year just take my pick of, if I was out hunting and something came through to trip my trigger, I'd go for it. But sitting in the tree stand one spot and go for it. But here it's like there's a sense of, well, if you're John, you're working for that animal that you're taking. If you're Aaron, you're going out walking the same path you've walked the last 5 years, and you're sitting in the same tree stand and waiting to see what walks by. There's not a level of work to it. It's just I'm going out, I'm taking opportunity by the harness. But then you come out here and you're hiking to go get the animal. You're not dragging that animal out of the field. You're packing it out. There's a whole different level of adventure I find in it, that it's kind of reset the clock for me, which I like, because John and I both, in various capacities, kind of work in the hunting industry, and there's, I would say, there's a level of burnout you get working in the hunting industry. It doesn't necessarily take your passion away, but it definitely adds a different element to it, and it's easy to get burned out on it because it's just, talk it, breathe it, sleep it every day. And for me, coming to Montana, I think really reversed that for me a little bit and just gave me a fresh new look at it. And my last couple of years, and my last year in Virginia helped me out too. But yeah, that's just it. I'm at a point now where I just like going out, finding a piece of land that's on the map. If I have the opportunity to buy an over-the-counter tag for that area for a doe, even, it's just like, cool, I have one reason to go out there and check this new piece out.
I love how you just acquire these massive amounts, like fistfuls of tags, and then you're like, oh boy, that's like 4 hours away.
Dude, I got, this last year was my first like serious hunting season in Montana. Yeah, and any tag I could buy, I bought, and went to town. But I think it was a lot of years of pent up, like, man, I just want to get out more and more and more, and I just don't have time to get out there. Oh yeah, I piled them up this last year. But it was cool even in that respect. And I think part of what got me out there more was I had a neighbor down the street. We made a deal during the summer that if he taught me how to fly fish, I was going to teach him how to hunt. So I had a reason to go out and hunt more. Well, where do you take someone to teach them how to hunt? You get doe tags.
Yeah.
And anyway, so he hunted with me during bow season. I got my first 2 deer with a bow in 6 years, a whitetail and a mule deer, which was awesome. And then I got my buck and my other mule deer doe tag that I had on the same day. My wife didn't get it. She actually didn't get a go, but we would get 4 deer, an antelope. I mean, it was a season for sure. And I still had 2 tags I didn't even go fill. So.
And that just burns you, right? Like your goal as a hunter is to get a bunch of tags and fill them. I mean, that's your mission. Is that fair to say?
Fair to say. If I've got a tag, I don't want it to be in my pocket when the season's over. And I would say that I went above and beyond my level of normal effort to buy more tags than last. But this year, I was actually kind of bummed. I applied this year, so we'll fast forward into turkey season here, for here 2020. But I put in for 2 areas for drawing a turkey tag. I bought my general tag. So in Montana, I think if you play your cards right, you can get between 10 and 12 turkeys if you get all your cards, or if you get all the tags you can get, plus draw the special region tag. And actually, out of 20 people, I drew a specific tag this year for this one region, and I went out and I got that bird. But I've got a Region 7 tag, and my general tag still burning a hole in my pocket. And Region 7, from where I live, is 5.5 hours away. And I have zero reason to drive 5.5 hours to go kill a turkey. And I have I'm interested, but I have like a limited level of interest in making that happen. But this year, it was enough to say, you know what? I bought the tag. I'm going to go try it. And so that's actually where I'm going this weekend.
Kidding.
But like you said, I don't like tags burning a hole in my pocket. And and then actually, so I put in Montana's got everything short of caribou up here for big game species. So I put in for everything, and I'm right now I'm batting 0% at drawing anything. So I just, the bighorn sheep tags came out this last week, and I didn't draw the 2 sections I put in for ewe tags, and didn't draw mountain goat, didn't draw bison. But yeah, I've still got antelope to wait on, still got deer to wait on. I didn't draw the elk unit I put in for. But as a resident, I have the benefit of doing all that over the counter too.
Sure.
So yeah, needless to say, yeah, if I can pile the tags up for the heck of it because they're cheap and why not, then I don't want to be looking at paper at the end of the season.
It's a pretty good meat resource too, having all those animals roving around out there. It's got to drive you a little bit insane with the itchy trigger finger that you
have. It's definitely tough for sure. I mean, I had a buck this year on this piece. I had the neighbor. I had Kevin is his name. I had him down twice. He went out with me, and I just took my bow, and he was just coming out just to be there and tag along and learn what he could learn. And the day that I got my mule deer doe on this piece of property was just the deer activity was ridiculous. I mean, we sat there for 5 minutes and deer just started pouring out of the little timber draws. And I mean, it was just insane. And there was a buck that was with the group, and any other day of the week, I wouldn't have looked at him twice. And I'm not picky about what buck, like you said, I kind of just take things for the opportunity and try to feel out the area and be like, hey man, if that's a good looking buck, I'm going to take him. And I don't have like a size limit, or anything like that. So anyway, this deer was down to the bottom. There was 3 little bucks, and then the rest were does. And then this one buck was sizably bigger than the rest, but he might have scored 110 inches. And he came up, and I had a bow in my hand. I'm like, how cool would it be on my first mule deer with a bow to take a buck? And he came up, and he was 90 yards away, and the lead doe that was closest, she was real curious. She was coming into me like I was sitting wide open on the ground. And the closer she got, the more my head was just spinning on, should I wait out for that buck or not? Maybe I should wait out for that buck. But meanwhile, you've got all rifle season to go out and explore the rest of the state of Montana and find a big buck or whatever, But yeah, it's like you said, it's definitely victim of circumstance for sure. But then the meat resource, you said that. I set a goal this year, and I've been doing it pretty good for the last probably 2 weeks so far, where I really dove into it. Start of May. I wanted to make a goal for myself. You and I have both kind of played the keto game, and I'm really kind of getting back into that now after a little bit of a lull and stuff and getting more focused there. But part of that, I wanted to eat all the game that's in my freezer before I eat any store-bought food. And, this whole COVID thing kind of put some pressure on that a little bit more, because it's like, hey, I've got this huge resource in my freezer that I got myself. I know where it came from. I don't need to be buying store-bought meat. We got issues with the whole store-bought meat thing right now, with shortages of meat lockers being able to process and the whole nine, right? Like, there's people that could go to that store and buy that meat more than I need it. And then also on the flip side, I made the decision to go take the animal. Why not actually make sure my freezer is empty every year if I can? And then by the time hunting season goes around, I'm out there obviously to, like you said, fill tags, but I'm also there to fill the freezer again,
Right. Well, let's talk a little bit more about your the weekend that you got coming up. I mean, we set a goal to kind of talk about my turkey season, but we definitely it's kind of the first time that we got together and got to sit down and talk about what we want to accomplish and kind of who we are as hunters and stuff. I think we should kind of hang our hats on that one, that area.
Yeah. I mean, clearly.
Yeah. And then probably have to circle back to
the turkeys are at this point. Turkey hunters and turkey,
right,
folks.
And turkeys are my favorite thing to hunt. I mean, don't get me wrong. I make myself have fun doing it. I'm so passionate about chasing big bucks. I put myself in situations where it's a lot of times it's not actually that much fun. But if I don't put myself in those situations and the season's over and I don't get one, then I'm like, man, do you even lift, bro? Like, do you even try?
Yeah, because it seems like such an easy thing to get out and do that if you don't do it, you feel bad. Hence, tomorrow I'm packing up, driving 5 hours to go get one, because I'm like, man, if I don't do it, who am I?
Yeah.
Who am I as a hunter?
Yep. So that's cool that we definitely both challenge ourselves as hunters, just completely different ways. And I think that's really cool, and it'll be fun to have more conversations about the different ways we go about it and the different things that we value as a hunter, different ways we value the animal too, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But so you're gonna go ahead.
It was kind of
so,
go ahead. Oh no, I was just you spoke about the value perspective. It was when I was out turkey hunting with Dan, is this other friend's name I've got here from Montana. We went out turkey hunting 2 weeks ago, and we were just cracking jokes the whole time about everything. And like turkey hunting is so easy to just have fun with. You're not out there like super focused on being quiet. Now, obviously, if you're sitting under a roost tree or something, that's that. But when you're on Montana, you're walking around trying to call, or if you're in Iowa with John and I, you're walking around calling, trying to get birds to respond to you. But you know, there's a level, like you said, of just entertainment you can add to it, and you make every hunt as enjoyable as you want it to be. So anyway, we were cracking jokes about Gabe Morton's pulling us over, and you know, saying that, you know, if we shot a turkey, we were saying it would be, you know, back in Iowa we call that a grouse. I thought we were hunting grouse out here. And then the value of the animal came in. At one point in time, so I've got this deer testicle off the first mule deer buck that I took. So when I first year here in Montana, my goal was to go shoot a mule deer buck. That was my number one goal. I went out and I did it. And I kept a testicle off that because of a media episode Steven Ranella has. He shoots an antelope and he keeps the nuts off it, and he talks about this recipe called hot butter buck nuts. And I'm a huge Steven Ranella fan, so I'm like, you know what, I'm not a man if I don't keep a testicle, at least one testicle. I couldn't bring myself to keep both, but I kept one. And then it's just been sitting in my freezer for the last 2 years. I haven't touched it. And every time
I was gonna ask you, do you like keep that in like a jar or like your sock drawer or like?
Nope, it's in very tightly packed saran wrap, just sitting in the top drawer of the freezer. Yeah, it just sits there. And every time someone's coming to visit, my wife's like, "We should get that out and not tell them what it is and take it for them, make them eat it." And we don't do it. But anyway, back to Dan and my turkey hunt. We were just talking about like if we had hunted all these animals all year and just killed so many animals there's a certain point where, you know, we're talking about poaching, and that's where it came up, and how guys just take a backstrap off of like an elk or something, because, and maybe some of the reason is, and he got that because he heard stories about local people, like either they don't like he shot an elk in a pretty unopportune place last year and had to pack it out and experience like the real suck that is actually packing an animal of that size out in a place where, you know, it was 3 times the amount of work to get it out that it was to get back there and get it. And just how, you know, the realities of that situation. And anyway, he was talking to a local landowner, and he goes, "Man," he's like, "you know, you guys have some pretty remote country back here. Like, how do you do?" He's like, "Well, first off, we don't go that far to go shoot them. You know, we shoot them close to the road for a reason, or we shoot them where we can drive to them. Right. Otherwise, we're not shooting them." And then on the flip side, if you do get somebody that shoots one back there, they typically take the choice meats off it and leave it. And then, of course, you know, as a hunter, I don't think you and I, either one of us, agree with that at all. But that's just the reality of the situation. And so anyway, we were talking about how funny it would be if you had like a game warden come check your freezer. You've just got like hundreds of backstraps only in there. There's not a drop of other meat in there. And then I told him a testicle, and he's like, "You got your little testicle basket. You got your backstraps,
a bunch of elk backstraps and one testicle hanging out in there."
Exactly. Shoot. But no, anyway, that was a long way to get around to maybe it's had to be their situation. But yeah, just painting the picture of a freezer full of backstraps, and that's it. But no. So yeah, I mean, as far as this weekend goes, so we had actually tried, we mentioned before, you and I, and again now, we both work for Tacticam in certain capacities, and we've got what's called the Tacticam Team Program. John and I both were products of that. And so it's kind of segregated by region, but then also by state. And so up here in Montana, we had talked earlier this year about myself, because I live here in Montana as the sales manager for this part of the country. And then we have our team leader who lived in Montana, and a bunch of other people out here that are a big part of our Western team that live here. We were going to try to coordinate a big team hunt to go out to Eastern Montana and hunt based off the number of birds that are out there. And from what we've heard from one of our team members that's out there, the landowner's philosophy, if they give you permission, is if you come in here to kill one, take 6 with you. Like they don't like the turkey because they cause a lot of problems, eat a bunch of hay, all that stuff. So anyway, we're like, well, what better place to go get some cool footage and, use our Tacticams, and we got some new products out and everything else to go do that. Well, then that all fizzled out. And then I don't know, about a month ago, probably close to 4 weeks ago, me and our new team leader for the area were supposed to go out there and hunt with that Clay, the team member out there. And it didn't really work out. We both had other things kind of going on that weekend that just took our attention away. And so we rebooked it for this weekend because this is the last weekend for turkey hunting. And Jeremy fell through, and now I'm going out there by myself. And I was half tempted to be like, you know what? It was supposed to be a team thing. Maybe we just call it a wash. But it's one of those deals where maybe it's a product of the outdoor industry. It's like you're working when other people are playing. I used to be a park ranger. It was the same thing. You're working on weekends. You're off during the week. You're working when other people are playing. And this year I just hit a point where it's like, you know what? Who are you as a hunter if you're not going to make it happen? You went through the effort of applying for the Region 7 tag. You bought your general tag. And if you don't put the effort in, you're not going to get a bird. And that's really where this weekend came from. I'm going to go do it. There's not a question about it. So I made the plan.
You're kind of like the captain of that squad out there. And that's why you're going out there, bud. You're going to carry the ball. You're going to get out there. You're going to get that damn bird.
That's it. Oh, dude. Oh, my chest just puffed out a little bit when you said that. Feeling good. I'm going to grab my shoulder pads and my helmet.
You're going to carry that freaking ball, and you're going to go hammer one right in the face.
That's it. I'm not going to let these Tacticam team guys pull me back. Schedules they can't conflict with.
Yeah, you're going to get out there and get her done, boy.
Mm-hmm. We're just going to go do it. Got 2 tags to try to fill. The birds out there are Merriam birds. So I got my first Merriam this year, and pretty awesome hunt. And then, this will be hopefully number 2 and number 3 if everything plays its cards right. I'm going to bring a ground blind. I'm going to try to get some footage on the new spotting scope camera and get, a couple goals that way. But I really don't know what the hunting's going to be like. I'm going to learn a lot from Clay on how the birds get hunted out there.
For sure. Well, good luck. Keep me, obviously.
Yeah, man. Really? Oh, for sure. Not even a question.
Well,
you're on speed text for my kill
better
list.
Be. Well, I think it's great catching up with you, and definitely look forward to how that hunt goes, and we'll catch up soon, huh?
Yeah, for sure. Well, we gotta keep on anyway. So the next, no, like John said, I think this was a great episode to kick it off. We're both on here. I think he caught a little bit of our personalities there, but that was really what the pilot episode was supposed to be all about: catching up, learning, a little bit about who we are as hunters, philosophies, things like that. So I totally agree with you. I think that's the best way to launch this out. And then next time, though, we've got to get into the turkey taker. So it's a series we're going to start. John, you had the vision for it, and I think it's just perfect. You've got at least 2 hunts to go over. I've got one, and now I'll have 2. So I think we got at least
we got old Stephen Thomas down there in Alabama. He's a turkey slayer. I'll tell you one story about him. We were at a hog hunt together via Tacticam, and share your hunt, that camera action.
But now share your catch. You got the fishing camera coming
all
too.
The cats out of the bag, but that's kind of. We were all hog hunting down in Tennessee together, and we were getting ready to go out, and Steve and I had happened to be in the same bunk area, and I was in there rummaging around looking for a fresh pair of socks or something, and I hear like this guy come in. I hear like the sweetest sounding like hen ever, and I'm like, dude, what kind of call is that? And he's like, what you talking about, call, boy? I just use my mouth. Like, what? That's just your mouth? He's like, oh yeah, you when you grow up around turkeys, man, that's all you need. And I was like, wow, yeah, apparently that's all you need, because he didn't need a call at all, and it was like the best hen sound I have ever heard, including wild hens. Like the dude could make a wild hen blush for sure. So And then
Wow,
I
that's
called him
awesome.
up today, in fact, and just ran it by him, about the turkey takers. He was pretty fired up, and we should have been recording because we got into some basic stuff, some next level stuff, some next level stuff. I mean, the dude is so passionate about turkey hunting, and I'm kind of, I've only been hunting turkeys for like 8 years as opposed to like, I don't know, 35 or whatever for him, or whatever. He's probably about 30 or 35, but just a wealth of knowledge. So it's cool picking his brain about turkey. So I'm looking forward to that too.
That's awesome. Yeah, I didn't even know. We're definitely gonna have to get him on and maybe even do an own
Oh, no
dedicated
doubt.
episode to him. It sounds like.
Yeah, for sure. So.
No, that's cool. And that's also the second part. So I don't know if we covered it in the pilot, but part of this is John and I are 100% both average Joes when it comes to hunting. I mean, I personally, my personal opinion on the term professional hunter, I don't think anyone gets professional at hunting. I think people just earn money by providing entertainment through that lens, I guess. But anyway, we don't claim to be pros by any means, but I think just like that, if you didn't just say it, who would know who, Stephen Thomas is, or who's John, or who's Aaron, or who is whoever. And some of those people, man, they just know it better than anybody. And that's going to be part of this too, is just kind of incorporating the unsung experts in certain areas that we know into, and just getting that real firsthand boots on the ground grassroots perspective on.
We just want to talk about hunting. We love hunting. We want to hear more stories. We want to hear other people's successful stories. I want to learn from as many people as I can, because I'm definitely not where I want to be as a hunter, and I'm going to keep pushing myself to get there, or I wind up in a wheelchair or a casket or whatever it may be. I mean, I'm going to keep pushing until that day comes.
And yeah, keep swinging that timber, boy. Let her fly and pile her high.
Boy. Oh yeah, let it fly.
Oh, okay, that's awesome. So, but no, we're
for sure.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. Yeah. We can wrap it up there for this one.
No, I think it's
final thoughts?
just a great time catching up with you. It's been a while, and look forward to talking to other people about hunting, and some guys we consider experts. I don't think you really even have to put a label on it. We just want to talk to people that love hunting and can share their ideas. And I'm going to share what I know, and I know you'll share what you know. And we'll talk a little bit about God and a little bit about food. And you might even, from time to time, hear us crack a beer. If that's allowed, I don't know if that's allowed. Should I have done that? We're gonna.
I think no, it's totally allowed. You
Right.
just drink wine.
So that's it. That's it in a nutshell.
That's it. Well, I'll wrap up with this. You brought up God, and that's something we hadn't touched on this episode yet. And I think it's more of a periodic, opportunistic thing. I think where that'll come up anyway. I mean, you and I both have talked about it before, and it's just something that he touches and works in our lives in 1,000 different ways, and just sharing our experiences and our thoughts and things kind of inspire other people and inspire us at times. And that's what it's all about. But I was actually listening to the Fresh Life Church podcast yesterday or the day before, and it kind of fits into this a little bit. I'm going to make it fit. So the whole message behind the thoughts that they were talking about was, or a big part of it was, just seeds and kind of how they grow into, things and transformations and things like that with life. And part of something that inspires me, and I'm pretty sure it inspires John, is that being in the natural world, just seeing the order of things and how things just work without our interference, and just, which is part of how we operate and stuff too, is just really, really cool. And there's a lot of things that you can kind of see and understand about, God or the bigger picture, just by sitting back, taking a third-hand perspective on what's just going on around you naturally without any input. And so the one of the things they were talking about was seeds, and how, we always get pushed, whether it's as a hunter, they talk about the evolution of a hunter, where you go from a tag filler like myself, or the guy that just wants to kill something, all the way up to the guy that's not going to kill anything unless it's that one specific animal he's had his eye on, and this whole evolution of things. And I think, so the way this was being referred to is, we all are seeds, and we're all planted in this world to do something for the bigger picture of life, which is just like the natural world. I mean, seeds are planted, things grow, things die, the whole nine. But it was kind of going a step deeper into the fact that you're one idea is that things transform into something completely different. And I think we all have a weird pressure on our lives to, whether it's a business you work in or whether it's your hunting experience or anything in your life where you just feel like, oh, I've got to transform myself and become this totally different person. I think it's just all a process of growing into what you were supposed to be, but that was all written on you from day one when you got here and growing. And that's kind of the hunting journey, in my opinion. I'm 30 years old now, cracked the big 30 this year. And since I was, 15 and started hunting, I don't think my philosophy has ever really changed. I've been an opportunistic hunter, and I don't know if I see a big buck, I'm going to go after it, but I don't know that I'm ever going to be the guy that just has to go have that one animal. I want to get out there, I want to experience it.
Don't do it.
Take an animal and eat it.
I mean, don't switch over. Just keep doing what you're doing.
So exactly. But that resonated with me. I was like, I was thinking about it from a hunting perspective in a lot of different areas of my life too. I think I was born, and God said, hey, I need an Aaron on this planet for this reason. And I'm going to fulfill a certain mission out here. And, but that's been written on my heart since day one, and all the experiences you go through in your life, they're going to help you. You can kind of go away from that or whatever, but at the end of the day, you're going to die as what you were planted here to be. And I think there's a lot to be said about that with hunting and everything else. But anyway,
yeah, that's very cool. I want to shirt tail off a really quick hunting story from a couple of years ago. I had randomly met this guy at like a trailhead. I'd never seen him before in my life, and we got to talking, and just he was out bird hunting, I was out running trail cameras, and a couple weeks later or a month later, whatever it was, he sent me a message like the day before Minnesota rifle opener, and he's like, hey bud, I didn't think I was going to be in Minnesota, but I'm here. Do you happen to know where I could get a deer, where I could get a buck? He said I think he said he hadn't shot a buck in like 20 years. And I was like, well, he got,
what's wrong with him?
Right. He got busy.
That's my first question.
Making a name for him.
Okay. No, he just wasn't going out. It wasn't for lack of opportunity. It was a lack of.
And so now he's back and didn't expect to be in Minnesota. He thought he was going to be working. Well, the day before, he's like, whoa, I'm still here. And he reached out to me and he asked me, do I know where he could go hunt? And I actually thought about, like, I knew the weather forecast because, I'd been looking at it for a week before that. And I'm like, okay, it's southeast wind. Where would I want to put this guy? And lo and behold, this area popped into my head. And I'm like, okay, dude, go to this ground, get there at this time, bring this, and this. It's going to be a ground hunt. Just still hunt your way in until you get to this stand of pines. And once you get to that stand of pines, you're going to be like just out of sight from a beaver pond. It's going to funnel the deer through there. Like sit on a bucket or a chair, or make sure you have something, and just wait it out. And I think you'll get a crack at one. And I mean, it was like one of the coolest phone calls I got, or texts, I think it was, at like 8:30 in the morning opening. I whacked a spike buck, and it was like a Boone and Crockett to him. I mean, he was so jacked. And I mean, it was a really, really good feeling. And that's definitely something that I want to replicate too, is that's like awesome. If I could tell somebody one thing to help them get their buck or their turkey, I mean, that's what it's all about. And for sure. Yeah, man. For sure, brother.
Planting seeds.
Right?
You guys never would have met. That would have never happened.
I'd still be looking for a buck.
Planting seeds, man. Yep.
Well,
for sure. Although I don't know about Minnesota, but where I grew up, that'd be you could put your go tag on a spike buck.
If the antlers are under 3 inches, basic. Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to do some reading on Iowa's. I know Montana, I think it's got a length restriction, but I want to say when I was growing up in Iowa, it was if it had a fork, if it forked at all, then more than 2 points.
Well, good.
So no, very, very cool. Well, yeah, man. So that's Prayin and Slayin Pilot 2 is what we're going to call that one.
Yep. It just kind of happened. We had to talk about that stuff and kind of get out there what angles we're working and why we want to do this thing. And I think it's been good.
That's it. Heck yeah. All right, man. Well, we'll sign off for this one, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.
All right. We'll see. We'll catch you next time.
We're going to send it.